Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about Adventure Darklords. Now, there are a few things I wanted to say. First of all, I had a feeling someone was going to ask about Adventure with Darklords, just because Adventure is paired with everything. So, I figured, hey, let's give it a try. Let's see how this deck works, and I kind of want to show you guys what it is. But two, if you don't know, there's a reason why I was hesitant to do this. Reason being, the Adventure engine locks you out of activating the effects of monsters that are normal summon. It doesn't lock you out of your normal, it just locks you out of the effect of that normal summon. So, that means that things like Indulged and Morningstar, which are wildly important for the archetype, are a lot less likely to resolve. So, I'm going to say this with a very big asterisk. While I did come up with a deck that pseudo-worked, that did fairly... I mean, it did win occasionally. It was either I was using the Adventure engine or the Darklord engine. They didn't pair well together. I would highly suggest playing one without the other. So, if you want to play the Adventure stuff, play them in a different deck. If you want to play the Darklord stuff, play it without the Adventure engine. You'll be fine. So, yeah, there you go. Other than that, yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Let's just do the quick card by card. I'm not playing a whole lot of hand traps, but I am playing Duel and Lockbird. Literally the only hand trap that I am playing, and the reason for that is pretty simple. One, it destroys a lot of the metagame. It's just like a turn ender if it resolves. And two, we're playing Reasoning, so we don't really want a lot of monster effects. But we're also playing Droplets, which is very good at going second. And this deck overall is just like, I mean, Darklords in general are fairly decent in going second, just due to the way that their effects work. So there's that. Also, we just want to go first anyway. Then we're playing the Adventure engine, the 2 Water Enchantress, the 2 Red of Aramazir. We are playing the 1 Wandering Griffin Rider, 1 Fateful Adventure, and 1 Dracoback. Pretty standard. As for the Darklords, we are playing 2 Indulged because it's not as useful to have it when you have less access to your normal summon. And then the 1 Ukabak for that as well. We're playing 1 Amdusk, 2 Nastin, and 2 Superbia. The reason for 2 Nastin is simply so that we can have another way to special summon monsters onto our side of the field without contact. So, yeah, that's pretty nice to have at multiples. Just being able to discard, go into this guy, and have that extra summon without, again, needing the normal or anything like that. The 2 Superbia is for similar reasons. We're playing triple Eggshell, obviously, the 1 Tez, the 1 Morningstar, triple Banishment, triple Contact, and then 1 of each of the traps except Sanctified. Moving on, we are also playing triple Reasoning because this card is absolutely crazy valuable in Darklords. Being able to get a free special summon of something like a Nastin or an Amdusk is very nice. As for the rest of the cards, we're playing triple Pot of Prosperity. We don't really need many of the cards in our extra deck. We need specific ones, which is why we're playing the Pot of Prosperity and not Pot of Extravagance. On top of the fact that oftentimes we're not drawing cards. Most of the time we're searching them, unless we have specifically Eggshell. So there's that. We are also playing the Harpy's Feather Duster, Foolish Burial to get the Water Enchantress into the grave, double Called By, and double Forbidden Droplets. As for the extra deck, we are playing first Darklord. I put Baron in here. Realistically, I don't have a way to summon it. I was earlier playing Ash, and I just didn't take out the Baron because I don't really need many extra deck slots. There's not really anything that I can go into, so I just kept it in here. But yeah, at this point you could just banish it. But if you play Ash Blossom as well, you can go special Wandering Griffin Rider, special out the normal summon out the Ash Blossom, since you're not really going to be able to use your normal anyway, and then you can link that off into a Baron de Fleur. So that's very nice, and it allows you to also use your Water Enchantress, the token, which is a fairy, to go into things like your Condemned Darklord or the like. So worth considering playing Ash because of that. I took out Ash just because it wasn't really good enough. Didn't really end turns like the Droll does. So, yeah. And then we're playing the 1 Relinquished Anima because of Droll and Lockbird. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 2 Condemned Darklord along with the 2 first. The 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Barricade Board Blocker. The reason for this one is just because it requires 2 monsters with different names, meaning if you can get a... like, if you end up getting an Nibiru and you can get another monster onto your side of the field, you can go into this guy, and it just gives you another monster that could potentially be used for something like a Underworld Goddess or whatever it may be. Yeah, just kind of like another thing. Also, it adds a continuous or field spell, so you could add the Fateful Adventure if you need to, from hand to grave. From your graveyard to your hand. So if your Fateful Adventure gets popped and you really need it, you can get it back with the Barricade Board Blocker. We have Cross Sheep as well, because sometimes we can go into this guy and bring back on another monster. We have Nightmare Unicorn, we have Black Luster Soldier, we have Apollosa, Access Code, and Underworld Goddess. Also, another reason to play things like Cross Sheep, the Nightmare Phoenix, and other such cards is for Access Code being able to banish more attributes. So, there's that. Anyway, that's going to be it for this. Let's hop into the duels and see how this deck performs. Before we get on to the rest of the video, did you know that 70% of the people who watch my content aren't subscribed? If you end up liking the content, consider subscribing. You can always unsubscribe later if you end up not liking it. Anyway, let's get on to the rest of the video. Alright, so here we are in our first duel, and holy crap, at least we're going second. We drew Rite of Aramesir, and we have some options. I'm going to Ash Blossom this, reason being if it is, well, it doesn't matter. But if this deck is Floowandereeze, I like hitting the Pot of Prosperity because they need to see very specific cards, and if you can stop them from seeing those specific cards, oftentimes it is enough to just like end the turn. But yeah, they're going to reveal Map and Eaglin, which are 2 of the big cards. They're going to add the Eaglin to their hand. They're going to activate their Floowandereeze Unexplored Winds. They're going to reveal the... Oh, sorry. They normal summon the Eaglin, which I don't think it searched anything. Nope. Didn't... Oh, no. They did. They added the M-Pen, and then they shuffled back the M-Pen with the Unexplored Winds to try and draw into something else. We don't know what they drew into. They set a card and passed. So, now it's our turn. We're going to Featherstorm them and deal with their back row, which one of them was an Imperm. And then out comes the Rite of Aramesir. And at this point, we basically have full combo. We also drew Amdusk, which is nice. We could just pitch this nib. It's not going to be doing anything. Out comes the Griffin Rider. The Fateful Adventure activates, and they scoop it up. All right. Now, I just realized that I said I wasn't playing many hand traps, and in that one I was playing Nibiru. I did change up the deck a bit, so there I was playing Nibiru because I wanted more hand traps, but as I mentioned, I was also earlier playing Ash, so there's that. But, yeah, down comes Dimension Shifter, which is basically a death sentence for us, so there's that. Again, we're playing against Flender, but I did want to say that it was so hard to find good duels. Even losses were just bad. Either I bricked or, well, oftentimes it was just like I bricked and I literally had nothing, and my opponent was like doing full 10E Auroradon Halcdon stuff, and like I just couldn't play the game. But yeah, here we go. They activate the Dimension Shifter, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm stuck with just the adventure stuff, even though I had a playable hand that I could actually do stuff with. But it doesn't matter. We are going to go for the Rite of Aramesir. We are going to go for the Fateful Adventure. We are going to add to our hand a Wandering Griffin Rider. I'm going to just banish the Superbia. It's not really doing anything, and I'd rather keep the Water Enchantress so that I can special summon it or activate its effect again to get the Rite of Aramesir online as well. Down comes Harpy's Feather Duster. I just have to let that resolve. Okay, there goes my cards. Down comes Book of Moon. All right. And down comes the Floowandereeze and the Unexplored Winds. They're going to reveal, they're going to shuffle back 2 cards and then scoop it up. Now, I did have one good duel where I basically just played pure Darklords with, some Draco back bricks and stuff like that. But we're going to go Eggshell. We have the Banishment, so this is a phenomenal hand for us. We're going to go Contact back the Superbia effect, bring back the Eggshell. Eggshell effect is going to then search out the Indulged. Since we are not, like, locked out of our normal, we're just going to go for the Indulged here. We're going to search out, or special the Ukobak, search out the Tez. We're going to go into Condemned here. Condemned effect is going to activate. We're going to pitch the Draco back, search out the Morningstar. Then we're going to set 1, 2, 3, and pass. Gain that 1500. And, yeah, we're off to the races. And, of course, as I set 3 pass, my opponent has the Harpy's Feather Duster. I'm not too upset because we still get the Uprising, but, like, I've had terrible luck with this deck as well. Just, not only did I brick, I also just never happened to go first. Or when I did go first, I had terrible hands, and my opponent had, like, all the one-ofs, like Harpy's Feather Duster consistently. So, this was just really demoralizing. But then they normal summon Exosister Irene, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't really do anything with the graveyard. And out comes the Monster Reborn. So, with this Monster Reborn, they can activate the Exosister Irene in order to go into one of their Xyzs. So, in response to this, I'm going to chain the Eggshell, which will still be able to proc their Exosister Irene, so that they can go into one of their Xyzs. But with this, we can just immediately go into the Uprising, use the Morningstar, nuke their field, and then the Irene doesn't really get to do anything. And we're untargetable, which is very good against Exosisters because, like, all of their effects target. So just becoming untargetable makes it very difficult for them. So yeah, out comes the Indulged. I'm going to nuke their field, and because they are turn player, they have to activate first, and then I get to activate. So they activate, I chain, bada bing, bada boom. And we draw Reasoning off the top, which is absolutely crazy. They call level 8, and they hit it. Alright. Down comes Dimensional Barrier, so they negate the Fusion Monster, but I'm going to Dome them for 4k and pass the turn. Alright, down comes Sophia. They are going to Ties of the Brethren. I'm going to activate the first Darklord in order to try and get something out, since I already know that they can go Ties of the Brethren in order to just go into an Xyz. They don't get the battle phase, but that's fine. They can get the Xyzs that they need. So I'm going to go for first Darklord. They're going to chain. They're called by, banish the Eggshell. So I'm just going to go for the Ukobak here. Ukobak is going to allow me to send a Darklord Rebellion. They draw one, they set one, they pass on this. They didn't go for an Xyz, and I draw Harpy's Feather Duster. Hilarious. So I'm going to deal with the back row, and it's Compulse. So they Compulse back their monsters since I can't be targeted, and now they don't die. Fantastic. Dang it. Alright, that's fine. I'm going to go first Darklord. I'm going to bring out the Tez here, so that they don't get a chance to go into 2 Xyzs. So here, now they can only go into 1 as I shuffle back the Rebellion. So they're going to go for the Mika here. And I'm going to go to battle. They are going to activate the Mika here in order to banish a Superbia, I guess. Since, again, they can't target any of the monsters on the field. They can't target the ones in grave. So I just pass the turn there. They have one Exosister in hand, and that's about it. I'm going to go Tez here and contact back the Indulged, just so that I have it. And I'm also going to give them the Amdusk here and search out the Eggshell. Now, should I have done this? Probably not, but I did want to at least get the advantage before they could, like, Exosister me. They drew Ellis, so it doesn't really matter. Now, they do something rather scary. They go Utopia, and I'm like, okay, they could go, well, I'll show you. They go into Utopia Ray, and at this point I'm like, you're not low enough for that to really do anything, and then I see, oh, they're gonna keep going. Out comes Utopia the Lightning, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting Zeused. Maybe if I draw something like a Contact, I'd be fine. That is like a 4-material Zeus. Okay, I'm looking pretty scared. And then they go for the Utopia the Lightning's effect. They're gonna pitch 2. They're gonna make this guy up 5,000, I think. Yeah, he's 5,000, and that's it. And they just pass the turn. I don't know why they didn't make Zeus. I don't know what that was about, but okay. I draw Pot of Prosperity. Not the greatest, but out goes 6. Rebellion. Banishment. Banishment is like all that we need. Nastin. Rite of Aramesir makes it even better, so I'm actually going to add that to my hand. And down comes the Rite of Aramesir. We are going to grab up the token. We are going to attach the Fateful Adventure, activate the Fateful Adventure, search out the Wandering Griffin Rider. We are going to then pitch the Ixchel. We're going to special summon out the Wandering Griffin Rider into attack position, and then we are going to link 2 into a IP Mask Arena. And I realize I kind of need to be able to clean up this board, which at the moment I just like can't get over this guy. If this card battles, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. Yeah, activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. And then once per turn during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, well, this card has a Utopia Z monster as material you can detach to, becomes 5,000. So I can't really just like attack into it. I have to pop it in some sort of way. So I decide to go for the access code here. And I take the line with the IP Masquerena so that it's protected from destruction. And I'm going to increase. I'm going to pop a card, and they scoop it up there. Good game. Alright, and here we are going second. We drew a lot of adventure stuff and reasoning, which is pretty interesting. So down comes the Pot of Duality. I've played against a whole bunch of Flunder. And this time, they actually didn't brick. They drew insane. So there's that. They're going to go for Robina, activate the Toucan, add back the Toucan, add the Eaglin, normal the Eaglin, Eaglin effect, add the M-Pen, go for the M-Pen, activate the effect of the M-Pen, chain blocking with Robina, Robina add back to hand, add the Dreaming Town. Normal summon the Stree to banish a card, set 2, and pass. And because they banished a card from the graveyard, I'm immediately like, alright, I'm already dead because they have Dimension Shifter. If they activate Dimension Shifter, this game is now over. But they don't activate Dimension Shifter. So I'm going to start off with Pot of Prosperity. I'm trying to find a Harpy's Feather Duster, or like I'd even take a Called By because I'm scared of a Dimension Shifter, or just like anything really. We reveal Morningstar, we reveal Banishment, another Banishment. So I take a Banishment. It's pretty simple there. We're gonna go for Reasoning now, and they call level 1, but hey, out comes Nastin. Realistically, because of the effect of M-Pen, negating special summoned monsters' effects while they're in attack position, I should have put this guy in defense. It doesn't really do much, but like I should have done that. But down comes the Dreaming Town. They're going to go for the Robina. I'm going to add to my hand a Dracoback. I think I had it. No, I equip it. They go for the Eaglin. They go for the Ryza. They go for the Ryza. They're going to activate the effect. They're going to shuffle back the Rite of Aramesir as well as the Fateful Adventure. Why? What? I don't know what this guy was on and why he did this. But there you go. He also didn't tribute a wind monster. He tributed 2 waters. So he doesn't get the extra place, which I think is where his problem was. I think he was just like, oh yeah, I'll just tribute 2 whatevers. Forgets to tribute a wind. And yeah, now he's... There you go. I'm going to put back the trap card because I'm not really worried about any of these guys. But I'm going to search out the Superbia so that I have it as additional follow-up since I have the Amdust to get it into the grave and the Contact. And then I'm going to special summon out the Water Enchantress. We're going to go Water Enchantress and the Nastin into IP Masquerena. And I know what you're saying. Why didn't you use the Fairy token? Or the Adventurer token? Pretty simple. I wanted to keep this around because of Dracoback. Dracoback is so valuable in this format. So there's that. But we're going to add back the Nastin, and then we are going to activate our Contact. Contact back the Superbia. Superbia, contact back the Amdust. Amdust is then going to search out another Contact as additional follow-up, mostly. And then we are going to link away the M-Pen for an Underworld Goddess. We're going to activate the Underworld Goddess, negating the effects because it's funny. Then we're going to add it to our hand to the Rite of Aramesir before they get a Called By. Or they have access to it. So then we're just going to attack in, and at that point, they scoop it up. We had Insane Follow-Up, so it does make sense for that. I guess a connection fail. But we had Insane Follow-Up, and I don't think they really had much going for them after the M-Pen Ryza removal. But yeah, we had some really good follow-up there. So, there you go. Good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and I'm not going to lie to you, this deck had a terrible win rate. I changed up some of the hand trap lineups and stuff like that. And all in all, I don't know. There wasn't really any build that I could reasonably see where this would work. Maybe in a 60 card variant. The problem is, with only 2 Water Enchantress, you're not really likely to see the actual Water Enchantress if you do end up milling it off of grass. And adding more cards to a Darklord deck doesn't really sound like a great idea. Darklords they're too bricky. They're too reliant on very specific conditions to really make it work. So yeah, this deck's just not very good. They also need their normal summon. There's so much. It just doesn't work well. But now you know. And now I know. Doesn't work. I figured it wouldn't. But it's nice to experiment. Sometimes you just need to be like, let's test this hypothesis. So yeah, there you go. That's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, Alex very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.